guys, it's Carly from the Poetry of Nice. I just figured I'd do a quick video for you guys today and share. I've pulled up 18 things here that I have sold in the last 3 or 4 months on eBay that were sort of surprising to me. Things that I picked up and took a chance on, or things that people gave me for free that I sort of said okay, even though they kind of look trashy, and that they sold pretty well for me, and that I was surprised basically. So 18 things that kind of surprised me that I could sell on eBay in the last 3 to 4 months. So here we go. So the first thing I have for you here is this little set of Alvin and the Chipmunks McDonald's toys. I will say that they are not like a complete set. They were half of them from 2009, half of them from 2011. Some of them talked. You can see some switches on the back of them, and some of them did not, but sort of overall all of the characters are there. I got these completely for free. They were in like a sort of a free bin at a yard sale. The woman pretty much begged me to take as much as I could carry. She was sick of having them all. And so I grabbed these since I could see that all the characters were there, and took them home. I put them on an auction. And I sold them, I think I sold them in 1999, and you can see here, I had 10 bids and they ended at 29. And again, for something that's totally free, super easy to ship, I was really surprised that I got what I got for these little McDonald's toys. I will say that I left loads behind in the box. Now that I think about it, there was a whole bunch of other Alvin and the Chipmunks things just hanging out. I guess they did a lot of McDonald's, but had I known, I would have grabbed them all, right? But you know, you got to be grateful for what you got. I'm glad that she gave them to me for free, and that I was able to make almost a $30 profit. Uh-oh. I lost one. Okay, well, what I just went past then was a pair of vintage sunglasses. And what I was going to say about those is I got them for 10 cents at the church rummage sale. They were just kind of sat. They were really goopy. You know, they were covered in whatever from just being sat around a long time. And they didn't look like anything special. They were plastic. They had these kind of polarized lenses. But again, they said, I think, made in Italy on the inside. But they were plastic. They didn't look, you know, terribly expensive. But so I grabbed them for 10 cents. Why not? And to my surprise, they sold overnight for $50. I think I'm going to say Bucci, Bucci was the brand name. At first I thought it was a knockoff from Gucci. It shows how much I know. You live, you learn. But yeah, they sold for $50 really quickly. So don't overlook those eyeglasses, especially if they are vintage or they have something really retro to them, like those kind of transparent plastic frames or the polarized lenses, and people really do go for those. Okay, this next one, since I skipped past that, apologies. Okay, so I got this at a moving sale. It was sat beneath a bunch of books, and it looked like this. It was like a big plastic kind of folder thing, and it was full of all of this material. And I got this for, believe it or not, 25 cents. And I had no idea what it was. I picked it, it didn't have a barcode on, I couldn't scan it or anything like that, but I picked it up purely because it was complete and it looked expensive, frankly. Like I don't know, like how could you pass it up for a quarter, right? Anyway, I brought it home, I listed it. I was surprised when I did my research that it's actually currently selling on the company's website. And I don't know how well known the company is, I'm not sure, but it was the materials themselves in that folder was selling for like $425. So I was really surprised. So of course I started way up high on eBay since it was brand new and it was complete. And honestly, because it was kind of rare. I mean, when I say rare, I mean, like, you know, you have to really want to look for it. I guess it's like a Christian workshop thing, from a smaller, lesser known company. So I didn't get a lot of views. I didn't get a lot of watches. And I was new to all of this, so I didn't necessarily have the patience to kind of wait and see, which had it been now, I probably would have, you know, sat on it a little bit longer, right? But, anyway, I kept dropping it, and eventually I popped it up for 65. Again, remember, when I paid a quarter for it, and it sold. And I was really excited about that. At that point in my little reseller career, even just like 4 months ago, that was a really big profit margin, and I was so thrilled. But again, you know, don't overlook those materials, those course materials and things. Even if you don't know what they are, if they look complete and they look unused, go ahead and grab them. All right. Okay, this one. Now everybody knows Lennox. Well, most people know Lennox. Most people know to look out for it and whatnot. But I was really surprised with this one, mostly because I grabbed it at a yard sale for 50 cents. And what surprised me about this is this woman seemed to really know her stuff. She had a lot of different sort of higher end things, and she had really priced them up high. And then sort of I thought I was going to come away from there not buying anything, since I like to pay kind of low on things, depending on what they are. Anyway, so yeah, I found this sort of digging around for 50 cents. And this little ornament particularly, it came from like a series, a 12 Days of Christmas series, and this drummer boy ornament was discontinued, and there wasn't many out there whatsoever. I really couldn't find any comps. I think I found one like a replacement website, and it was pretty high. So I decided to just pop it up for $50 with buyer paying shipping and just see what happens. And it sold, and it only took a couple of weeks. And again, even though it's a Christmas ornament, it sold in, I think it was like May or June. So I was really excited about that, 50 cents into $50. So definitely look out. And not all Lennox will go that high, but definitely look out for these little kind of ornaments that are part of a series and things like that, especially if they're a little older. This one was 1998, and sort of fortunately or unfortunately for the buyer, I don't know, they're not made anymore, so that really played as a strength for me. Next one is, this thing was a shocker. It was this a super soaker. So I know to look out for super soaker now. I know that they tend to sell pretty well, but this guy here, he was, what was he called, Mount Tiki Soki. He was a heck of a lot of fun. We had some fun playing with him and filming him. I embedded a video in the listing, and I picked this up for $3 at a yard sale. And believe it or not, less than a week later, it sold for $75 with buyer paying shipping. I'm not sure what it is exactly about this that is particularly special. It had the box with it, so that was kind of cool as well. And it only had a very small amount of wear. It was fully working. Like I said, I embedded a video to go ahead and show that, but for some reason, these are really popular. So yes, $3 into 75. So look out for that super soaker name. They definitely do well. All right. Okay, I pulled these up. This is just an example of some of the things that I tend to sell kind of habitually. So this is a stack of, as it says there, vintage children's books. It's a stack of 5. These particular ones, most of them all, I'm not sure, were these Alice and Jerry books. Now, they themselves were not particularly worth anything, even though they're beautiful. I mean, they really are stunning. But what I wanted to share about these was these books, they're from like the 50s and the 60s is what they were. I found them at church rummage sales. There was loads of them left at like the very end of the entire sale, like on a Saturday afternoon, and they were just pretty much given away for like 10 cents a piece, whatever they were. And so I basically grabbed anything that looked kind of cool to me, like vintage, retro, whatever, with these awesome hardcovers and illustrations. And then what I've done is I've broken them up into sort of color coordinating sets roughly. So I have some kind of muted pastels here, these like kind of more neutral colors, and then I have another set at the moment that's still up. I only just listed recently actually, that has more of the kind of like the teals and the bright turquoises kind of running through it. Anyway, I teamed them up by color, and obviously the fact that they're all vintage children's books, and I was kind of selling them pertaining particularly to Etsy as well as like vintage book decor. The idea being that these kind of color coordinated sets and things that people would use them potentially for decoration. Anyway, like I said, I paid 10 cents a piece for these, and they sold. I took a best offer in the end for $30. But that's not bad. That's not bad at all. And like I said, I got several kind of sets out of what I picked up, and they're just steadily selling for me, which is fantastic. Okay, I wanted to share this. This actually sold for $65. I got a best offer the evening that I put it up. And what I wanted to share about this particularly is that the brand itself, oh gosh, I don't even know where did I note the brand? Just kidding. It'll be down here somewhere. Something special. That's what it was called. Anyway, ironically, something special. It's not particularly special. There's nothing, as far as I can tell, that really makes it stand out as a brand, not like sort of Busilla and things like that. The very vintage ones do. It was an older one. I could not find anything comparable to it. And what I wanted to say about this is that it's, I believe, at least the subject matter that sold this and sold it so quickly. So I picked this up for $3 at a thrift store. It was new and sealed. But what it really seems to be is, you know, this beautiful poinsettia and a white horse kind of design going on here, and the fact that you can personalize it. I believe that these elements were what got me this sale. So what I kind of wanted to mention with that is that, you know, when it comes to needlepoint and things like that, we all sort of, and people who collect that or who pick it up to sell do tend to know some of the bigger names, but don't be put off if you don't know the name. Like, really do look at that subject matter and what kind of keywords you can pull from that. I was really excited how quickly this thing sold, and you know, for a really decent profit margin. So I'll be on the lookout for those kind of things again. I wanted to mention this only because it was one of those kind of digging for treasure scenario. So this is a vintage decorative plate for Biltmore Estate in Asheville, North Carolina. Again, strangely enough, I was there at a yard sale, and it was more like a flea market situation. So they seemed to know a lot of what they had, and they were pricing things pretty high. But I found this in like this little cardboard box that was marked 25 cents a piece. So I picked it out. I brought it on home, gave it a bit of a clean because it was a little bit dirty, but it had no chips or anything. And lo and behold, I listed it, and within an hour, I had a sale. I had an offer, I think, for $49, and I just went ahead and took it because I paid a quarter for it. So, you know, dig in the boxes below the table where people don't look. This was a more recent one. I picked this up for $2 at a yard sale. The fact that it has made in USA here, and it also has these leather portions down here at the bottom and on the handle. I sold this for $50 and buyer paid shipping. Interesting thing about this is that they were steadily going on eBay as comps for around the $30 range, but I liked it so much. I thought it was really cool and I didn't want to let it go for $30. I just thought it was kind of awesome, so I threw it up high, and within the week I got my asking price, which was quite exciting. So, you know, go with your gut. This was a little attempt at retail arbitrage. I picked up, I think, 3 of these, and I sold all 3 of them. I picked them up for $5 at Target when they were on clearance. And what I was going to mention about this is when you see things there, go ahead and scan all the different characters in a series if that's what you're looking for retail arbitrage, because all of the other ones weren't doing very well, but this one particular I don't even know who it is, but there was one particular character just seemed to be doing really well and has steadily sold for me. So from $5 to $25, and like I said, there was several of him, so I picked them all up. This was fairly recent as well. Picked all of these up in a big old plastic bag for $2. Took them home, cleaned them up a bit, did a little bit of research. There was plenty of them, and they sold the same night that I listed them. And I took a best offer, I think, of $50 with buyer paying shipping. So that was real quick. Look for these, like these sort of vintage 1990s Fisher Price toys for sure, especially when you can get them in big lots like this. That's definitely appealing to a buyer. This was one of the weirdest things I've ever picked up. Someone gave it to me for free at a yard sale because her arm was missing. I brought it home, did some research, listed it. I put it for auction, no one bought it, and then as soon as the auction ended, someone sent me a message and asked if they could please buy it for $30 plus shipping. So for free for $30, that's great. And it was one of these like Ashton Drake dolls. You need to check the back of dolls, especially anything that looks like it's quality or it's well made. These I got for about $3.50, knew nothing about them. There was no comps up on eBay, so I threw them up for $60 and I sold them for $40 within an hour. And they're just laboratory glassware. Like I said, no comps, so I took a chance and just tried. There's these plastic horse figurines, and there's also these plastic ones with the fences. I got these in with a big lot of, like, at an estate sale, vintage plastic sort of, obviously horse toys, and they look kind of cowboyish, whatever, with western wear. These are 2 from that big lot. They each sold for about around the $15 mark, and I also have 1 left still, so I'm doing pretty well actually. About $45 from that 50 cents investment I'll be looking at. This is a used rubber stamp. It does have ink on it. Picked this up for about $3 or $4 at a thrift store. Sold for $20, so don't worry if they're used, if they have good subject matter. Sold these used crayons, picked them up for 25 cents. They sold for 20. And this I sold because it was a random part that I forgot to include in a listing, and it sold. Go figure. You just don't throw anything away. Always list it. Okay, guys, please like, subscribe, and come back later for some more videos. You have a great evening. Bye.